let's get salty. Whether you know it or not, there is a war waging in kitchens across America, and we're here to figure out which side you stand on and if you're right or if you're wrong. Salt is an integral part of cooking, and whether you're trying to level up a dish, brine a turkey, or get the perfect sear on your steak, you better know exactly when to add the salt. So there are two main schools of thought. Those who say pasta water should be lightly salted like a broth, and salt should be used sparingly to enhance flavors or even simply added right before serving. Then there are those that say you should salt your pasta water like the ocean. They say you should salt every component of the recipe as you add it. These are the people that say pass the salt before they've had their first bite, and Lord knows they're friends with Salt Bae on Facebook. So, who's right? Let's find out. Some cooking is art, but some is science. The addition of salt in a recipe really boils down to a couple main reasons: flavor and chemistry. To get the most out of your salt, you need to understand some chemistry. A lot of cooking with salt deals with two main concepts: osmosis and the Maillard reaction. Osmosis is the process in which water moves through a food's membrane to balance the solute, in this case, the salt. For example, if you salt zucchini, water will be drawn out and onto the surface of the vegetable. The second thing to understand is the Maillard reaction. This reaction is incredibly complicated and scientific. It's responsible for the browning complex flavors that make bread toasty or burgers and steaks charred. In short, it's a reaction of sugars and proteins inside of food mixed with heat and time to create new, amazing, and complex flavors and aromas. It's what makes steak really good. So, if you want to brown vegetables with a high water content, like mushrooms and onions, then you really don't want to salt at the beginning because the process of osmosis will kill your Maillard reaction. You need to wait until you get some of that brown color before you start to season them, or you'll be cooking in a pool of water instead of getting the perfect char. On the other side of that coin, sometimes you want to remove the water from the vegetables when you're looking to create a less mushy product like zucchini noodles or eggplant parmesan. Now, let's talk flavor. Adding salt to food changes the way many flavors register on the tongue. Our body has a level or threshold at which we can taste certain flavors. Adding salt can decrease that level and make those flavors easier to taste. For example, adding a pinch of salt to baked goods reduces the amount of sourness we taste, which in turn makes the food taste sweeter. We didn't add any sugar or sweetener, we just decreased the sour flavor with a touch of salt. When you add small quantities of salt, it enhances all of the flavors to make food feel more full and vibrant. The flavors seem brighter because salt disguises flavors that interfere with the unpleasant ones. Thus, we perceive salted food as better tasting food. So, generally speaking, the way to get the most flavor out of a dish is to salt each component as you cook it. Salting at the beginning of cooking gives it time to migrate into the food and season the whole thing more thoroughly. One caveat we'll give you is this: if you're concerned about salt intake or trying to lower how much sodium you consume, you can skip adding salt while you're cooking and simply add it at the end. By doing this, the salt is a much stronger flavor since it's literally sitting on top of your food instead of inside of it. So now you could use a lot less salt to get a similar salty explosion. All right, we need you to chime in. Who is right in this argument? Who's wrong? And who's salty about it?